know about baby stealing, yo? Queen of England stole a bunch of kids in BC. We gotta get her to justice just as quickly as can be. Do you know the Queen of England can do no wrong? The Queen of England is so powerful, she can commit murder and never, she can choose to never be even interviewed by the police. Did you know that? We live in a time when, well, back in the day, pretty much Neanderthals, these laws were created. And then man was so stupid back then, they were like, ugh, ugh, and they just went with it, right? But nowadays, we look at these old archaic laws written by ancient, dirty old men and women. And you gotta ask yourself, how in the fuck did this ever come to light, eh? Who allowed these laws to be created, right? You got freaks like Donald Trump going around shouting out that he can walk down the street in Manhattan and shoot someone in broad daylight. And then you actually have statements, an actual sentence, the Queen of England. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. And it says, the Queen of England, if she commits murder, cannot be tried. She cannot even be questioned by police. And you think she's a good person? Just that alone. That would be like, that's like what Saddam Hussein's laws were set up in Iraq like that. And they hung Saddam Hussein. Yet there are countries that are giving the Queen of England diamonds on her Diamond Jubilee anniversary. There's countries just going out and giving her diamonds, like huge fucking diamonds the size of your fucking head. Blows my mind, you know? What kind of sick thing was I born into, you know? And the lack of voice that all you 7 billion people have in the world is pathetic. I'm going to speak on behalf of children who were taken in British Columbia, Canada, and never, ever returned to their families. I'm going to tell you a story. I want you to listen closely, because most of you are really stupid. You're going to ask a lot of questions that don't need asking if you use your ears and listen. This goes back a while. Gotta get my phone here. The Samsung S20 Ultra 5G, baby boy. Now, like space camera. They don't want you to see what's up in space. You're gonna see the Queen's dragons up there. You guys don't realize, what was that show called with Callista or whatever? And she was the queen, and she had a dragon. Well, dragons are spaceships, recorded in history as such. That's where the term dragon even came from. The Emperor of China came down on a fiery dragon, and it's made out of metal, and the fire came out of the bottom. What does that sound like to you? About a thruster or a booster? Keep listening. You're gonna learn so much on this episode. This isn't one of those goof live streams or goof uploads on YouTube or just straight goofy. I'm not shouting out any corporation today. There's no goofs allowed on this episode. I'd like you to boycott all major corporations on Earth as fast as possible. They're run by 13 old men and women that enslave and kill people who don't follow or kneel to the powers that they have. I don't follow or believe in the power they have. I think they're evil and corrupt. color. It's going to be awesome. So, I'm going to tell you a story that means a lot to me, and it's quite sad. Tiggs is here to listen as well. Tiggs is going to hear the story of... I wonder why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle left the UK Oval Office, or whatever you call it, like the presidential office that never gets changed out. Oh, are you saying the Queen of England is worse than Putin? So in Russia, all around the world, people look at Putin as being evil because he's been the monarch for so long. Oh, wait, are you too stupid? Did you forget about England? Are you stupid? It's the oldest running monarchy in, I don't know if you want to count like the Dubai princes that will chop someone's head off if they speak out against them at all or what. They're just as evil and corrupt. But there's a lot of people in this world that got to be brought to justice by all us slaves, you know? I'm going to tell you a story about the Queen of England. How she came for a picnic. A nice jolly old picnic here in Canada. She's never allowed back in Canada. We'll see to it. She's arrested the second she steps foot on our soil. Let me read you a little very sad, heartbreaking story about the Queen of England. Queen of England steals children from British Columbia picnic. Britain's child migrants. I was told I was going on a picnic. October 24th, 2015. Up until 1970, the UK regularly shipped thousands of orphans, British child migrants. I was told I was going on a picnic. The Queen of England and the children who disappeared. July 3rd, 2010. After a while, I saw the Queen leave that picnic with 10 children from the school. Under the authority of the Church of England and the British Crown, he speaks for our stolen and murdered children. Did the Queen and Philip really have a picnic with 10 children who then went missing from Kamloops, BC? According to eyewitnesses, in 1964, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip took 10 children from a native residential school in Canada on a picnic. They never returned. The Lost Children, a Canadian cover-up. Oh, this girl did a story on them. Body found on Queen Elizabeth's estate. Oh, here we go. Murder inquiry at Queen's estate. Body found on Queen Elizabeth's estate 9 years ago. Police launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found on Queen Elizabeth's II's estate in Sandringham. It's just disgusting, you know. Just disgusting. So this is on Reddit. You don't want to fuck with Reddit, by the way. I'm actually gonna share this with Reddit in a minute because I like to give credit where credit is due. I only heard about this today. Apparently in 1960, this isn't me reading. I'm reading this. This isn't me saying this. Apparently in 1964, the Queen and Philip went to a school in Canada known as Kamloops. They had a picnic with 10 children who were never seen again. Surely this is just one of those conspiracy theories, or did a disappearance actually take place with those 10 children? There's lots of stuff been deleted here, which is very scary to see. They're like, Listen to this comment. This is so fucking stupid. This is ridiculous. This is somebody who is obviously a dumb agent. It's impossible. Queen Elizabeth never went to Canada in 1964. Her royal visit was only to the Confederation provinces. The most east she went was Ottawa. 4,000 kilometers from Kamloops. She couldn't go there. It's impossible. What the fuck? It's like a 2-hour plane ride from Ottawa to Kamloops, you bitch. Shut up. I got a special mail delivery from Kensington Palace today. I don't know what that means. A new statue of Queen Elizabeth by sculptor Robert Hannaford, a member of the Order of Australia, has been installed. Ugh. The Queen of England and the children who disappeared. This story is from 11 years ago. You know what's really interesting? That this proves that people in all schools in Canada, maybe not all of them, but there is a person who is a predator in every school in Canada that is high up, and they steal kids. I'm not saying that it happens like all the time, but they're watching. Because listen to this. Are you telling me the Queen of England came to Canada? She took fucking kids out of school on a picnic. Who authorized this? Who, like, are you telling me these fucking 7 and 10-year-old boys were all like, oh, the Queen's coming. Let's put on our best clothes and let's go for a picnic with her. They offered to take her on a picnic? Or did adults take children on a picnic? Who rapes children? Who was in on it in all the people? Were there any children in on it? The U.S. Olympic Committee and all the doctors involved? Were they all children? No, they're adults. So there's adults in every sect that are evil. And it's proof, like I've had conversations with like people and I've heard stuff and I'm like, how could you even think like that? Like, how could you be so evil? And it's sex, sex, or maybe they fucking have maybe they like the way, young people taste. Like, if you're a meat eater, how do you decipher between a horse and a baby? How do you decipher between dog and cat, cow and pig? You're a meat eater. You're a bloodsucker. You're disgusting. Period. Remember that. Well, I sit here and eat my almond drink and oat porridge with plenty of maple syrup. Mmm. Mmm. This is my favorite way of having porridge as well. So there was a radio show. See, I know a lot. What I'm finding, man, did they scrub the fucking internet in a year and a half. So there are people in BC who have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people know about this in Canada. But in BC, there are people who own radio stations and run radio stations who can't stand what they did. And they know. Because several of their guests are no longer alive. So they had guests that were on the radio show and they vanished or died. But let's Google that and prove that too. And you can't not prove that because they actually did go on the radio speaking out against her and now they're dead. Let's look it up. They were actually not speaking out against her. They were just reading facts. Asking, where the hell are these children? What happened to them? Did she eat them? Come on, jump up. British Columbia radio host. Oh no, not radio host. Guest goes missing or murdered after speaking out about the Queen of England and the 10 missing children from Kamloops, BC. Go. Over 50,000 Native children were tortured, sexually abused, and some murdered. February 1st, 2016. After nearly a year of litigation, Queen Elizabeth and her husband Prince Philip were found guilty in the disappearance of 10 Native children. Let's read this. This story is from Last Real. I'm not racist or anything, but this is the website. Again, no racism. LastRealIndians.com. February 1st, and it's not a derogatory website. This is a fact-based website, so please, no problems. You won't get very far. February 1st, 2016, over 50,000 Native children were tortured, sexually abused, and some murdered at Canadian church-run Indian residential schools by Damon Corey. So a very cool person wrote this article. It sounds like some absurd claim to many who do not relentlessly trace the ancestries of European royal families. But in my own research, I have found some very interesting facts. Namely that all European royal families can trace back via at least one ancestor or ancestress to a member of the imperial bloodline of the Roman Empire, and the Roman emperors can trace back via at least one ancestor or ancestress to the royal bloodline of the Egyptian dynasties, who in turn can trace back via at least one ancestor or ancestress to the Babylonian royal bloodlines, who were the first royals to claim that a divine right to rule over mankind was bestowed onto them from supernatural entities they called gods, and also the first to engage in ritualistic child sex and sacrifice children. So I'm going to pause right there. So everything I just said is what you believe, but here are facts. Did you know that they did ritualistic sacrifice back in the day? Did you know that churches still to this day, creepy as fuck churches, still sacrifice a blood sacrifice still to this day? Old men will gather in a circle and slit the throat of a baby goat for their church. They will kill on the spot for their church. So don't think any part of what I read to you before is too far-fetched. 6 old men drinking beer in a field will kill a goat for fun. Period. Remember this. Now I'll continue with my not far-fetched truth I'm reading. And by the way, anyone who stood in that circle and failed to stand up for that baby goat, you are the devil. You are sick inside. Perhaps the very self-evident preoccupation of the persons of this ilk to want to religiously preserve their bloodline, sometimes slipping into the realm of genetic paranoia, might offer a logical scientific explanation as to their inherited psychosis that has left them the victims of the mental flaw due to several millennia of genetic inbreeding. So you won't even have a fucking clue what this said, but basically they're crazy because of the long line of crazy that is carried on. Now, I'll ask you this. If you have a dad who is evil, maybe touched you when you were a small child, and then you still see your dad to this day, it makes you fucking crazy inside to see that person. Crazy. That's basically what this is saying, because the life you spent with those people is how you are now, right? So anything fucked up that you did with them, you probably passed on that fucked up trait
and you hurt other people younger than you, like those old people preyed on you, you then were older than the next victim you preyed on because you learned from that evil. It's as simple as it gets. Monkey see, monkey do. And if you can't get that, be gone. Most people only know a few royals from the benevolent public image they show to the world. But I have never met anyone beneath their status who was privy to their private conversations. So you have to ask yourself, the secrecy that they have, why would you want to kneel down and obey someone who keeps everything from you? Did you not in school hate the person that was whispering in a person's ear that you knew? They were telling a secret you weren't allowed to know? Didn't it piss you off? Didn't you really like, fuck, I hate Kirk. Kirk is such a goof. Sitting there telling secrets to Judy all day, right? But no, because you're such a simpleton, you actually think that, church and royals are above you. Priests are better than you. The fuck? Maybe, maybe not. But one thing, oh, here. Is there some additional esoteric importance to the mitochondrial DNA they have been so successful at carefully preserving for thousands of years? Some dark aspect to it known to the bearers? So meaning like what sustains you? Is it blood? Is it, something in the child's uh, before they're altered? Like, okay, I'll give you an example. There's a type of what do you uh, there's a type of beef or a type of goat that you can kill when it's young, and they call it a different type of meat. I forget what it's called, but that's the same thing that they're referring to here. Is maybe they're a delicacy, or they're accustomed to having small children and small cows, but the small children are more healthy than the small cows. Who knows? Wow, maybe, maybe not. But one thing is fairly obvious. The royals are, in a nutshell, the most cunningly clever of all parasites to have ever fed off humanity for a living. Holy fuck, that's brilliant. That is fucking brilliant, mate. But one thing is fairly obvious. The royals are, in a nutshell, the most cunningly clever of all parasites to have ever fed off humanity for a living. Screenshot. They will never change any more than a leopard can change its own spots at will. Means you can't. But you know what happened? Harry recently left the royals. He no longer wishes to be called a royal. I believe that Harry has had children, and there's some indoctrination, or like they have to indoctrinate his children into this new. Uh, he's born, so now they have to. Maybe he has to kill a baby in a crib, like fucking some weird shit. You never will know, because remember, every fucking thing the royals do is secret. YouTube works for the Queen of England. YouTube works for the richest parasites on the planet. YouTube, Secret Service are not here to protect you. They are here to lie to you and govern and police you. And they'll do it by any means necessary. Uh, One thing I learned growing up around dirty cops, I've seen so many dirty cops in Canada get away with very bad shit. Very bad shit. I've had cops' families bully me, so they've targeted me. Cops will target you with their family members who aren't police, And I've had a guy in my arms before, in my hands, and he told me, he's like, my uncle sent me. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is your uncle? And he says, he's a fucking pig. And I'm like, what's his name? And he says his name, and I'm like, so I check, and sure as shit, this fucking little bitch kid is the nephew of a pig where I'm from. And the kid was shit scared. Like, you gotta understand, the kid was shit scared. It was like 24, 21, 22. I could give a fuck. He was on my property, and I wanted to find out why. And he spilled the beans. But now you gotta ask yourself, why did the pig send his nephew to my house? And there wasn't just him, there was 4 other bitches. They all ran. I just chose the biggest one, tripped him, got on top, and just said, hey, how you doing? Why are you in my yard at 4 in the morning, bud? What's really going on, eh? I made him take me back to his car. I said, show me your registration. I need to see this. Your name. Show it to me. In fact, he tried to close his door. I pried his door open. I'm like, what are you doing? You just vandalized my property. I'm about to arrest you, bud. Pried his door wide open. He's like, this is my uncle's car. I'm like, your uncle gave you his car at 4 in the fucking morning to come and harass me? Motherfuckers. So I talked to the Secret Service that week, and I said, listen, I said, there are fucking cops doing illegal activity here. I need help. I had some video cameras hooked up, not on my dime. And that was that. Never had a problem again. And I know there was a few talks that went on with that pig fucking uncle of theirs by some serious dudes in Secret Service badges. And they don't fuck around. I've never broken a law. I've never committed a crime. And I'll only do good in Canada, where I plan on residing for the rest of my existence. Never will I step foot in England. England is a place where lies reign supreme. Europeans who steal history need to go to jail. Europeans who enslave and eat babies, you need to go to jail. I wonder if the Queen is scared to be removed from the throne by the new king or the new person, because then she can be tried in a court of law. That just dawned on me. I'm wondering if she's just gonna die, the Queen, so that she's safe, So something happened. Someone spoke, and the word got out that 10 children were taken by Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II in Kamloops, BC. And to all those adults that covered it up, I can assure you, karma will get you. Stay tuned for more great videos just like this. And remember, you're not a boss. Don't pretend to be one. Don't play one on TV. Don't get on YouTube and start being a little B. You're nothing, okay? Get a backbone, grow a brain, and then use it, bud. Because that's what they fear, brains more than bronze ever. Because the more people that wake up at the same time, they can no longer control you. You no longer fear them, because you recognize that their greed and their ability to hurt you only lies monetary, system-wise. They can't hurt you in any other aspect besides a greedy financial aspect. And these people try hard to daily to hurt you financially, Not going to say too much, but yes, I've been targeted by them since doing these shows. Yes. And do I give a fuck? No. We are watching more entities that are corrupt in this country because of me starting this show. We have rooted out so much evil. See, evil can't help but chomp at the bit and try and get at me. Fucking come at me, bro. You're nothing.